Hello everyone, welcome to Learn Overflow. In this video, we will discuss today's LeetCode problem, that is the minimum number of refueling stops. So this is a hard level problem, and we'll understand how easily we can solve a question like this. What should be our thought process behind trying to solve a question like this? So we'll go through this one by one. Also, I'll make sure that you understand this question 100%. It is become crystal clear to you. So watch till the end. It's my responsibility to make you understand this question easily. Fine. So this won't be a hard question by the end of the this video. That's my promise. So before moving on, make sure to subscribe to this channel for regular code videos like this. So let's see what the question says us. The question says a car travels from a starting position to a destination, which is the target in terms of miles. Okay. Uh, so this is like take it as a straight line or something like that. This is the east of the starting position, so it's going in a straight line. You can consider that. Now there are like gas stations along the way, and the gas stations are represented by stations. So stations are this array given to us. Okay, so these are the gas stations given, and where stations of I, that is each of the stations what are given, that is the position of the station and the fuel. So what is position is? Position is that this I gas station is located at 13 miles from the starting position. Okay, 13 miles east of the starting. We are moving east. It represents here. So 13 miles east from the starting position. So that is the position, and the remember these are the position from the starting position. So that's like from minus zero, from the zeroth position we are moving on that towards it. So this is the position, and then the fuel I has like the amount of liters of gas that station has. Okay, the question is like that. The further it says the car starts with an infinite tank of gas. Infinite tank as in it means that that car can take in like take any number of gas. So you don't need to consider that whether a tank is full or not. So it can take any number of gas, but initially the car has only start full. So start full is a variable given to us, so car has only the start full amount of fuel in it. Okay, now it uses 1 liter of gas per 1 mile. Okay, pretty bad mileage the car has. But anyways, the question goes on like that, that it uses 1 liter of gas per mile that it drives, and when the car reaches the gas station, it may stop and refill, transferring all the gas from the station into the car. Okay, so wherever the car stops as a at a gas station, whenever it stops at a gas station, it will stop and refill. Like it may stop, it may not stop as well, but it may stop. And remember, like the total amount of gas that is available at the station, the total gas, like transferring all the gas, is transferred into the car. So the total gas will be transferred into the car. So that's what they mentioned by an infinite tank. So the car can take in any number of gas. Okay, so our target is to return minimum number of refueling stops. Like, what are the minimum number of refueling stops you can do? Like, that's an obvious question. Look, you are moving from one position to another or one city to another. Now, would you like to take like infinite number of stops for refueling? Obviously not. You will go ahead with something like you stop somewhere, you take as much fuel as possible, and then move ahead and keep going till you like. You will obviously prefer like minimum number of stops. Okay, that saves our time. That's the main idea. So the question is more or less like that. So question says return minimum number of refueling stops that the car can make in order to reach the destination. Okay, in case it cannot reach the destination, we should return -1. All right, and so further in a note they give, like if the car reaches a gas station with zero fuel left, the car can still refuel there. Okay, by any chance, say the gas station, it reaches the gas station with zero fuel left. Okay, it can refuel there. So that's the idea. If the car reaches the destination with zero fuel left, it is still considered to have arrived. Okay, so that's the idea they are sharing with you. Now, the first two examples are pretty basic. Let's understand that this too doesn't help you in understanding in depth with our question, but we'll understand. We'll see more examples in the coming time. So the question, the first one example says the target is 1, so we need to reach 1 mile. And what is the start fuel? Start fuel is 1. So with this given to us, that is the gas. It uses 1 liter of gas per mile. Okay, so with this given to us 1 liter gas per mile, we know that with target of we need to reach 1 mile and our start fuel is 1, so we can easily do that whether there are any stations or not. So output is 0. So how many stops we made? We made 0 stops. Fine. So that's the output. Now further let's see. let's see farther there, say in an example 2, our target is 100 miles, okay, and our start fuel is 1. Fine, we are starting with 1 liter of fuel with us. Fine, and with 1 liter of fuel, can we reach this 10? So what is this? 10 is the position, that is it's from 10 miles from our starting position. So we initially have 1 liter, and with 1 liter, can we reach 10 miles? No, we need 1 liter per mile of fuel. So we can reach a maximum of 1 mile. So we cannot reach our target. So the answer is -1. Fine. Now, the third example, or the third particular example we have is what that gives us an idea, more or less the idea we need to look ahead to. Fine. So let's see that once. The third one says we need to reach a target of 100. Fine. Great. And we're starting with the initial fuel of 10. Awesome. So we have initial fuel 10. So we know that by initially we can reach at max 10 miles. Fine, let's see. So if we have 10 miles, if we can reach 10 miles, so we know that there's a 10 mile, at 10 mile there's a stop there, so we can reach at 10 miles. So when you reach at 10 miles, what is our fuel we have? Fuel we have 0. Fine, because we reached our 10 miles, we covered up the distance, and then we got 60 units of, like, all the fuel will take. Fine, so we got 60 units of fuel from here. Further, with 60 units, look here, with 60 units, what, like, currently we covered of 10 miles, and we have 60 units of fuel, so we can reach at most, till where we can reach 70 miles. Fine. So you see, at 70 miles there isn't any stop. So what we can do, we can stop at 20 miles and take all the fuel there. Fine, but this is not 20 miles. We covered up already 10 miles. So if we want to stop at this position, so that would be like we are stopping at 10 miles after our first stop. Fine. So after, for that we are covering 10 miles, it will be like for from our this 60 liters of fuel, we just spend 10 more liters of fuel, and then got 30 more liters from that. Okay, is it giving us a result? So we need to check with all the things. Fine, if we are making a stop at this one, fine, at this third station, so it's like we covered 10 miles initially, and then we are covering 30 miles, so we are covering a like in between distance of 20 miles to our third station. And in the third station we are getting a fuel of how much? We're getting a fuel of 30. Fine, so it will be like we covered up, we got 60 liters fuel, and then we spent 20 liters to go to our third station, additional 20 liters, and the 30 minus 10, so there's a 20 liters additional we spent, and then we are additionally getting 30 liters from that. Fine, so that's where we are reaching till here. Fine. Now, what is the fourth case? The fourth stop is at 60 miles distance. So what we have done over here? Fine. See, we got 60 liters fuel from our first stop. Fine. So if we got 60 liters of fuel from our first stop, then we can reach this fuel stop, because we can reach a maximum distance of 70. We have already covered 10, and we can go more 60 miles with our current fuel. So here we are at a 60-mile stop, that is covering 50 miles from our last stop. Fine. Now, from our last stop we covered 50 miles, and here we already have how much fuel left? We have 10 miles, like 10 liters of fuel left with us. Fine, because we covered 50 miles from our last stop. We're left with 10 liters of fuel, and with that we got 40 liters of fuel additional. We covered up 60 miles fuel, and we got 40 liters additional, so we have in stock 50 miles fuel. With that 50 miles of fuel, can we cover our target of 100? Yes, because we have already covered 60 miles. 60 miles are done for us, and we need to cover 100, so we need additional 40 miles fuel is enough for us. So we have 50 miles of fuel, so we can reach our target. So see, how many stops should we take? Our minimum number of stops should be something like we took our first stop at the first station, because we have only 10 liters of fuel. With 10 liters of fuel we can reach over here, and uh, further we took our next stop at the 60 miles. From there we reached our destination like 100 miles. Okay, is it possible? Yes, that's how. So we took two stops, and that's the answer we are returning to us. Okay, so that's the understanding of the question. Now let's try to break into this. Okay, break into what? Say like at zeroth station. Look, if I just try to clear this and tell you, like say the zeroth station. Okay, like zeroth station, I mean at the, so there will be something like at the zeroth position, and we are starting with 10 liters of fuel. Fine. So the first stop is like the what is the max distance we can reach out of this start fuel? The max distance we can reach is 10. Okay, the question is, after we give up our first stop, okay, what is the max distance we can reach? Okay, so with this 10 liters, we know anyways we can reach a distance of 10. We cannot go anywhere else. Fine. So we know we have to have take a stop at this position. Fine. Now if we like move ahead, now after this 10, we got a fuel of 30, like we got a fuel of 60 over here. Fine. So now after covering 10 miles, we got 60 liters of fuel. So with the 60 liters of fuel, we can make a stop at any of the other stops we have. Fine, we can do that, because with the 60 liters we can cover a total distance of 70, because we already covered 10, and we can make any stop at any of the position. Now our idea is, like if we like refuel at this station, then our idea is what is the maximum distance we can cover up. Fine. If we refuel at this first station, what's the maximum distance we can cover up? We have 60, we spend 10 more to reach 20, so we have 50 liters in hand, and then we add 30 to from this station, so we can reach 80 if we make a stop over here. Fine. If we make a stop over here, so it's like 30, so 60 minus 20 will be more or less like 40 and 40, and then with that 40 we got additional 30 liters of fuel, so we can reach a distance of 70 over here. Fine. Now in that third stop, what we can do, we are at 60 liters, 60 miles distance. So at the 60 mile distance, we have like in stock 10 liters of fuel, like to reach the 60 miles. We have already spent 50 miles of fuel from our last stop, and we have 10 miles in our stock. So with this 10 miles and the farther distance, and the further petrol we got, like the fuel we got is like 40, so 10 plus 40, we can reach additional 50 miles from here, right? So the idea is, see, more or less the idea over here is, can we reach the station? Look, after, if we make a stop at this position, fine, like in this particular case you can see a condition like this, but this may not be true. So let me just tell you what the case you see this condition. Okay, so after, if you made a first stop in the 10 mile, and then you make a second stop at the 20 miles distance. So after this 20 miles, you covered up 20 miles, and you get like additional 80 miles of fuel with us. So with that 80 miles, can you reach your target? Yes, because we covered off 20 and we need to reach 80, so we can reach your target. That's true. So in that case also we are getting an answer to. Next, we covered up 30 miles, fine, up to this point, and we are getting a fuel of 70. So if we are getting a fuel of 70, can we reach our target? Yes, we can do. Okay, and the similar case is, if we reach a target of 60, can we reach our target with the additional 50 liters of fuel? Yes, we can do that. So anyways, if we make a stop at any one of this, for this particular example only, we find that after our first stop, if you make a stop at any of the other position, we can reach your target in like 2 stops itself. Okay, let me take another example. Let me show you another example where it will be much clear for you. Fine. Because in this particular example they have given, it's like you can stop at any of the position, and you know your distance will be covered. Fine. But the idea you must keep in your mind is like, you should get the maximum fuel, right? You shouldn't go ahead with the minimum number of fuel, because that will make you like that. If you just think clearly, you should be more greedy in the amount of fuel. You should need to think like, what is the maximum distance you can cover up with the amount of fuel you have, and with that fuel, what is the amount, like what is the maximum fuel you can take from any station. So what does that depend on? Because see, with 80 kilometers we can actually reach a target of 100, fine. With the 70 kilometers we are reaching a target of 100. That's the target distance. But with this 40 with this 50 kilometers if you are covering, so we are reaching a target of 110. So our target should be a bit more greedy, okay? Because in this particular example we are seeing that with all the stops we are actually reaching 100, but it may not be the case in it should not be the case in all the examples or all the test cases. So our target should be more greedy to follow this path, okay, to follow this path. So what we get an idea, we get a small idea. If we try to be more greedy, the idea is if we are checking for the amount of fuel it has, find the amount of fuel it is just covering up, uh, like amount of fuel we have at any of the stations. So the more the amount of fuel we have at any station, we should be greedy on the amount of fuel. Okay, we need to check how much distance we can cover with our current fuel, and in that distance, whatever the stations are there, which station is giving me maximum amount of fuel. So that should be our greediness over here. Okay, let's me just write another example over here. Uh, so that would be helpful for you. So here I took another example for you. I didn't take any target value. Let's try to see how much we can reach with whatever we have. Fine. Let's not keep a target, but let's try to achieve that. Fine. Now, with a start fuel is given for us is 35. Fine. Now, in this start fuel condition, what we can do? We can reach any station between 10 to 30. Like we need to do a refueling at any of the stations, right? So let's try to get a max distance we can reach. Our max distance we can reach is 35. So 35 we can reach, but we need to do some refueling before that. Now, in that case, what we can do is like we need to make a stop at any one of them. So let's see if we what is the maximum distance we can reach from here. Okay, let's we first make a stop at our 10. So 10 by 10 I mean this stopping position, like the position of our station we have. So at 10 we make a stop. Okay, so if we make a stop at 10, what is the maximum distance we can go? We had 35 liters of fuel, fine, with us initially. From that we spent 10 liters to reach this 10 position, and from that 10 position we got 25 liters of fuel for us, fine. Now I'm not subtracting this 10 from here because I want to reach the maximum position I can go ahead with that. If I make a stop at 10 and get 25 liters of fuel, so I initially I had 35, I made a stop at 10, so I spent 25 liters of fuel and we got 25, so we'll reach 50 miles more, but I'm trying to reach like the total distance we can reach. So initially we had 35, and if we make a stop at 10, so we got 25 more. So with that 25 more we'll reach a total distance of how much? We will reach a total distance of 60 miles, fine. That's what we can reach. If we make a stop at 20, fine, like with this 35 we can make a stop at any of the three. So if we make a stop at 20, so what is the maximum distance we can reach? We had 35 initially, fine. With the 35 what we'll do, we got 12 liters of fuel. So what wherever we can, like where we can reach a distance of 47. 47 miles can be max we can reach, fine. Now, if I make a stop at 30, like at the distance of 30, we made a stop. So initially we had 35 liters of fuel, and with that we got around 21 liters of fuel from over here. So what is the total distance we can reach if we make a stop at 30? So the total distance will be more or less like 56. Okay, so look carefully. Wherever we stop, we need to check for the total distance. Total distance, why? Because we have a target over here. In the particular example, I'm not taking any target value, but we have a target over here, right? So that to reach a target, we need to check the total distance. Target is actually the or total distance we have. So look, if we make a stop at any position, we are getting a hint that our stop actually depends on the amount of fuel we have. If we have more amount of fuel, we can reach more values. If we have less amount of fuel, we can reach less distance, fine. It doesn't depend on our initial value. Our initial fuels are with us. we how much fuel we can get from that particular station is what varies. Okay, if we can get more value, we know we can go cover up a larger distance with that. Fine. So that's the idea. Okay, that's the idea. We look carefully. The whole thing is depending on the amount of fuel we have at that station. So the amount of fuel we have, that varies with her. So that's we're getting an idea. Let's try to check what can be our maximum. Say with the maximum, we are being greedy over here because we need to cover up a large distance. Okay, we don't know the target in this case, but let's say it's a large target, so we need to try to see what's the maximum target we can reach. That should be our greedy. Okay, because if we are reaching a target, then we are done. We don't need to make more stops. Fine. So for that, let's say we went ahead with this 60. We made our first stop at the first station, and we got 25 liters of fuel. Now further, with this 25 we can reach a distance of 60. Okay, so with a distance of 60, what is the maximum stop we can make if we make any stop out here? Okay, if our target is less than 60, we know that by this time we have reached a target. But if our target is more than 60, we need to check what is the maximum we can reach if we make a stop at any of this. Okay, so further with this 60, if we make a stop at 20, okay, so if we make a stop at 20, what is the maximum distance we can reach? We got a fuel of till 60 miles, and we can reach a distance of 12. Fine. So what is the maximum we are reaching? We are reaching a maximum of 72 miles over here. Fine, because 60 plus 2, so we can reach, if we make our second stop at 20, we can reach distance of 72. If we make a second stop at 30, we can reach a distance of that 60, our initial fuel after first stop, and then add it to 21. Fine, so we can reach a distance of 81 miles. See over here, so we can reach a distance 81 miles. So the similar way, if we make a stop at 40 or 50, how many distance we can cover up? We can actually cover up our 60. Okay, plus how many fuels we got? 5. How many fuels we got? 3. So it's like 65 and then 63. Okay, so if we need to cover up a large amount of distance with minimum amount of stops, what's our idea? See, the idea is coming over here. The idea is something like the fuel station which have our maximum amount of fuel with us should be our first pick. Fine. So what's our idea now? With our first 35 liters of fuel, we know we can cover up these 3 stations. Fine. With these 3 stations, we will pick the station which have the maximum fuel with us, because we are covering the total distance. Our target is our total, is nothing but simply a total distance we are covering. Fine. So we got like the maximum fuel we got is 25 out of this 3, and we took that fuel. That's our first stop. Next we went ahead. We went ahead with the rest of the stations. We are checking what is the maximum fuel you can get till now. So with this stations in is given to us, what is the maximum distance we can reach? Maximum distance to reach is like 85. 81 we can reach. So whatever be our target, if our target is something more than 7, like something more than 60, we will definitely take this stop, because we have, does it matter if we have enough like more fuels? No, it doesn't. So why we'll go ahead with taking something less fuel, right? So the whole idea comes up, like jolts down to this position, like what is the amount of fuel we have in our station. Okay, so that's the idea. Our case was more or less like that. The maximum distance only depends on the amount of fuel at each of the stations. So each time we choose the largest amount of fuel. So whenever you come across this kind of situation, when at every time you need to choose the largest amount of fuel, we know we need to more or less think on something like a priority queue. After each step we need to find the largest, so a priority queue will be the best case for us. So what we'll do, we'll simply use a priority queue to find out the max at after each stop. Okay, like till like while this is less than first start fuel, we'll keep finding the value, and whatever how many values we find, we'll take the maximum fuel, the one giving us the maximum fuel, we'll take that, and we'll end up having our max distance being covered up. So that's the more or less the idea. Let me just quickly write down this code, and you will remember how easily we can do. Like, you remember that our whole target is on the amount of fuel we have at each of the stations, and then we'll try to like jolt them down based on the max fuel we are getting from each station. So that's the number of stops we are counting. So let's quickly write this code, and I will explain it again in short how this works as per our thoughts. Okay, so let's write this code. So here it is. That's how our code works for us. So let's understand once in a short that how this code works. So this code is basically like we uh, we simply got our like the first thing was if the start fuel is greater than equal to target, so return zero. So that's like our example one. The target is in this case start fuel is equal to target, so we return zero. So that's the if our start fuel is enough for the target, so we should return zero. Fine. So that's no queue, like no stop. Now further we just got a queue. Queue will be storing our exactly the amount of fuel we have at a particular station. Fine. So there's a queue, and this is a priority queue. And remember, like in our last videos, I told this in many times that whenever we do something like a comma b, uh, like arrow then b minus a. So whenever I do b minus a, that means we are doing a reverse order. Like the largest element is at the top, and the smallest element will be at the lowest priority. Okay, so that's the priority queue we are building over here. That's the largest, like the max heap we are creating over here. Fine. Next, we got few variables. We got I as 0, n being the station's length, being the how many stations are there, and the stops being 0. So that will be our final return. Fine, stop 0, and we just renamed this start fuel this variable as our max distance. So what are the whole thing we're doing? We're checking like while our max distance is less than our target. Fine, why a max distance, like why we don't reach our target, what we're doing, we are just checking if I less than n, I being 0, that is less than n, and we're checking like all the stations. Fine, so I was actually showing a current station. So we're checking if our station of I0 is less than equal to max distance. Okay, if our current station is at position which is less than max distance, like if we cannot reach our uh, current station, then there's nothing like at this position. Okay, if our start fuel is 1 and we cannot reach our first station, so that time we shouldn't check like amount of fuel we have. So we just got like station of I is less than equal to max distance. Max distance is the start fuel, we renamed that. So we just offered our PQ of our start of the amount of fuel it has. We just offered that in our queue. Fine. In case our queue is empty, so that will be the case in our example 2. We return -1. Fine. If we couldn't add any of the stations in our like any of the amount of fuels in our queue, so that's empty. So we just return -1. Fine. Further, we just what we did, we increment our max distance with pq.pole. So whatever the maximum amount of fuel we have, we added that with our max distance. So that was the exact thing we are doing in our example I just showed a few minutes back. So we just pq.pole. Every time we pulled an animal from our queue, we just make that we are stopping. We're making a stop over there. And once this max distance becomes greater than our target, we return a number of stops. So that's the number of stops we got. So that's the whole idea. And see, it works pretty fine. It's like faster. It's not even a slow solution. So that's pretty good solution we got. So that's more or less about this video, guys. If you have any doubts in understanding this video, make sure to comment them down. I'll be happy to help you out. Okay, and also like this video, so and share it with your friends as well, so who are solving this question. Maybe it might help them as well. Also, subscribe to this channel for regular LeetCode videos, and thank you all for watching this video. Hope to see you soon in my next video as well. Thank you.